Hello, hi Tracy, how are you?
Hi Sagar, I'm doing great.
It's been roughly 15 hours since you become the COB champion. How are you feeling? Has the feeling sunk in?
I think it has sunk in. It's still sinking in, but I think people have been so sweet. I've got so many lovely messages from everybody in the chess community being like so supportive and also so curious. Like, how did you do this and how did you have so much time to play so many games? And so it's been very. Also, a lot of my friends and family who don't know that I've been playing chess, they're like, "What? You played chess? This is crazy!" How come you didn't say anything? And so it's been awesome,
You
very
know,
cool.
that is one of the main reasons why we are doing this interview as well. The fact that you reached 1800 elo online, you also won the COB, and that too without any training. And I think that is something which everyone's been looking forward to hearing from you. So I want to go through a bit of details. If you can share more with the
Yes.
people, that would be amazing. But for you, how does this achievement feel? Like, you've become a dentist in your life, you've done stuff. So for amidst all of that, this winning a chess tournament out of the blue, how does that feel for you?
I think it feels really great because I feel a lot of people see you as only one thing. Like whenever any profession you take, they categorize you as, oh, this is who you are. Whereas I feel the awesome part about any kind of thing that starts as a hobby is you can take it really far if you practice. Like if you get really not obsessed, but if you get really into it and you find the right tools to get better, you can, like, that's also a part of you. And I think the best part about winning was that yeah, I feel it's so cool to be able to do something that's not your profession, and at the same time, to like have a small win in it, which is obviously, do well. Yeah.
Yes, yesterday I think Kenny spoke about it very briefly when he joined the
Oh, the stream.
post match stream, and he said that Tracy has this ability to focus on any topic and then well, improve in it. Is that true? Like, have you done it in other things as well?
I mean, firstly, Kenneth's my husband, so I think he's a little biased in this. He's a very sweet fellow, and that's why he says these lovely things. But it's
He
also
said
great motivation.
he said I knew from the start that Tracy is going to come and just crush everyone. So he
Yeah.
was very sure.
Yeah, but I feel like even if I didn't crush anyone, he would have still been like, you could have done it. So he's just a huge motivation with anything that I do, which I mean, that's something I love about him. But yeah, I also feel like what he said is partly true, where if I take up a certain skill, I feel like, oh, I really, if I like it, I feel like I want to really develop and become very good at it before I like tell people, or more than tell people, just like I want to become good at it, so I put in the time to do it.
Did you do it in something else? I think art. Was it
So I did it
art?
in art, yeah, in COVID. So basically, during COVID, I mean, I was in Mumbai working, I mean, as a full-time dentist, and then COVID hit, and I was here for a couple of months, and then I moved back home to Goa where my parents are, and
So you are originally from Goa.
I'm from Goa,
Okay.
yes. And actually, it's funny because I think my name keeps changing on everything. It's like, is it Tracy? Is it Trace? And but it's Tracy.
No
My
one
name,
knows your name. Yeah, Tracy.
but it's nice because I think like it's. I mean, not nice. It's funny. But yeah, my name is actually Tracy, and but I just like Trace because that's what all my close people call me. Um, and yeah, so then when I went back home, like everything was shut, like a lot, I mean, only essential service, and like obviously because I was working for a cosmetic clinic in Bombay, so then that was also, everything was made online, and then I felt like I had so much time, and I mean, I know it's very bad to say, but I was utilizing all of lockdown. I'm like, man, I have to do, I have to do something. I can't just watch TV. I mean, I also did a lot of that, but But yeah, then I felt like, oh, I like art, and I've always liked arts, like art and craft, and so I did it with painting. And Kenneth is actually a professional. He's done his degree in painting, which I
Oh,
think a lot
really?
of people don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So he did 4 years in like an art school, and so I feel like I was like, okay, even I'll buy stuff and we'll. So then I just bought like a bunch of art supplies, and I would just watch a lot of YouTube videos. I feel YouTube is the best thing ever because you get like free access to knowledge from people who have done the hard work, like which before people didn't have. You don't have access to the internet to just like look up anything.
Yes.
Now we Google everything. So this was just the best part was that I could just look up like, okay, what are the supplies I need, and which is the best, not which is the best video, but I started out with a few videos in art. And I think with any skill, the initial phase is of sucking. Like you are just, you have to get over the fact that the first few things you do will not be good. And the best part is actually to not show anybody, because if you show, if like I remember, if I showed any family member, if they said like, oh my god, it was great, like I knew this is horrible. And so I was like, it's really not great. So like, you just, if you don't show anybody, then you don't have to feel bad that it's not great, and then you just have to get over the fact that it's not great. You have to be like, you know what, I will eventually do something I'm proud of. And yeah, I think then slowly, if you don't stop, you get over that initial uncomfortable phase. Then you really reach the point where you're like, oh man, I did this. This is so good. And I feel the same thing happened with chess, where I started out playing, and I didn't actually. I have some questions which I'll ask you later off stream. Which was, I didn't understand the point system. So first you would get like on chess.com, when you first play, the points are like, if you win a game, you get like 100 points or 200, and then slowly as you keep playing, like the points really dwindle. And I was like, man, this is like getting more and more difficult, because now you like, then you really feel bad if you lose.
Because there's
Um,
something known as the K factor, and it
okay,
is very high at the when you start your journey, so that you are
okay.
motivated when you win.
Oh, to play.
So then when you as you cross a certain threshold of games, your K factor reduces, so whatever is
Okay.
the points you get is multiplied by that smaller number. So that's
Oh,
why the fluctuation is smaller.
oh, okay, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
I didn't know this. So I remember being like, this is really like unfair, it seems now. Now I have to work extra hard to, um, yeah. So that was the.
So when you started off chess, what period was it? Do you remember roughly? Was it 2022?
No, no, no. So actually, I think that's what, like, Samay had asked me, how long have you played for? And I think I must have said 2 years, but I was talking about the actual time when I was playing a lot of games was those 2 years. But since it would be 2020s when I had, like, I downloaded chess.com, the app and everything on my phone. I think that was when COB was happening.
Yes.
It was around that time. I don't think it was 2019. I think it was 2020.
Because
Um,
2019 was not pandemic yet, and
no,
but was
it
it
was.
Kenny taking part in one of the COBs that
Yes, it
motivated
was.
you, or
Yes, yes, yes. It was
ah
him taking part, and I remember everybody was getting some kind of coaching.
yes,
And
he was working with Soumya if I'm not mistaken.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. And then I mean, like, and he had by then come to Goa to like meet my family and see everybody, and he had got a place. And so then I was like, even I want to learn this, like that's how it started. Um, and then I downloaded it, and I think that's the same thing. Like, initially when you start, you can either play against obviously a random opponent online, or what's less embarrassing is what I felt was to play against the computer, because then
Ah,
if
the
you
bot.
lose, the bots, yeah, like then like there's no shame, because I'm like, you can play millions of these games and nobody will, like, I don't know. Initially, it was not that I cared about the points, but I felt like it started and I was playing, and also I didn't know what are the right moves to play, and I felt like obviously the computer knows, because now
Oh.
it's so advanced. I felt like the computer will know what the right move is, so then I would play a game and I would do some rubbish, and then the computer would obviously play depending on the bot. Um, so that's how it initially started, and it also lets you like capture pieces because you're first playing with ratings that are also low, so it's not like it's so advanced where it thrashes you.
Right.
So that's also, I really liked the compute. I know that, I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but I really liked playing against bots. I felt it was very helpful for me. um
So,
yeah.
so you started off with bots. Did you ever play chess in your childhood, or was this the first time ever? Like, did you know the rules of
Um,
chess? How
I
knight
mean, I
moves,
knew,
bishop moves?
yeah, I
You knew
knew
that.
I knew the rules in the sense that I knew, like, oh, I didn't know the points of the, that point system and all I learned later. But I knew, like, okay, bishops move like diagonal and sideways, and I knew, okay, the horse is the L, and I didn't know the correct names for stuff and all. But I knew, like, I remember, I think once in college where we had we had these festivals, like it was called Trinity. I was in KLE, and like they needed girls to participate in all the events. Like, okay, you need to participate in badminton and football and whatever, not, what was the kabaddi and all this stuff. And I remember it was the phase where I was like, I have to try to do everything. So I would be like, I want to participate in this, I'll participate in this, because I didn't do that in school. In school I was more shy and, like, oh, I don't really, too conscious to participate. But in college, I was like, I have to, take this moment. Nobody knows me here. Just participate in everything.
You
And
were
I
in
think I,
Mumbai at that point.
no,
Was it
no.
in
So it was in
Mumbai?
Belgaum in
Ah,
Karnataka. Yeah.
Belgaum. Okay.
Yeah. So then I, I remember I participated in chess. No, I didn't win, or I didn't. I remember I said, "Oh, I will," and then it. I mean, I don't think I ever. I didn't know how to play, so it was more just for the sake of participating. But that was it. That was my only
That's
real.
how you knew some of the rules. Then you started
Yeah.
playing with the bot. You downloaded chess.com app,
Yes.
and then you started playing, and it was always on the phone. You never
It was always
used
on
a
the phone.
laptop or anything.
No, no, I'm like a hardcore phone user, which for Kenneth is so bizarre because he's like a full tech, like we should get the best TV, and I like watch like stuff on my phone, and he's like, like, why don't you watch on the TV? You should like, I'll watch Friends or any kind of medical show, anything on my phone, and he's like, just use the TV, or but yeah, I love my phone and I utilize it to the max. So
We saw
I
that when you were playing COB. Also, you had your phone and you played. You didn't use the
Yeah, yeah.
machine or
Because
anything.
I also know, like, if you're not used to the PC, I don't want to make like, mistakes while playing. I mean, this is obviously because it was COB.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah.
So once you began playing and you wanted to improve, was it only through playing games that you started realizing, oh, I should not do this, I should not do that? Or did you also try to sort of ask around? Did you go online? Did you watch some videos? How was it?
Right. So I feel for the first like 5 to 6 months, I would say I didn't really ask much, but I remember that I would actually learn, like, I would learn, like, maybe do the computer thing, and then I would play actual matches versus people,
You mean you would play the
random people.
bots and then you play actual match?
Then I play actual matches.
Actual players. Okay,
Actual, and
okay.
I would try to use, like, okay, what I've learned in this thing, I'll play it the same opening. So first, I think initially it's just about like learning what are the openings, like, okay, what is the best move when you start. And like first it gets very overwhelming because if you try to go on YouTube and say what is the best move, like the videos that are there are very advanced, like they're very, the names of the openings are this, which by the way I still don't know. But like, I remember the coolest one that I remember was like, oh, Karo Khan is this, and then this is something else, and I was like,
Fried
this is,
liver attack.
yeah, I'm like, these are just too, it's too, that's too ahead. So I was like, I'll just stick to the base of, okay, I know I have to open at the center and it's that main pawn. I'm like, okay, cool. If it's like white, if it's white or it's black, this is the way I have to do it. So it started out like that. And one of my very good friends, Adrian, he has always loved chess. So once, I think about after 6 months, I told him like, oh, even I play. And so then he gave me a book to read, but I was so shameless, I never read the book. So I don't actually think that was a good idea to bring up the book. But he gave me like a book which was like, the basics of chess, which is, what are the squares and what is the naming and all of that. And then I was just like, this is just I
you
should have maybe
you are
like,
like, all these things are not important, I just need to know how to play well.
yeah, yeah. I was just like, I mean, I know that that's also a very I am sure much more organized way to learn. Because the disadvantage of learning the way I did is, I'm sure I also learned bad things, and now I have to undo those bad things that I'm so used to playing. You know, so there are both, like, there are different ways of approach, but I was just, I mean, this was not, obviously not, I was not doing it some professionally. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to read like a whole book. But then I feel honestly it was chess.com that really was very helpful. That was also the only thing I knew. And I videos were too complex. And at that time I felt like, oh, should I get the subscription? And then I was like, I'm not good enough to get this subscription. I will not really use it. I mean, I didn't really know. So I just yeah, that was how it
How
started.
much time would you spend roughly in a day? Because the question, on everyone's mind is, if you play 35,000 games, even in 4 years, okay, that's
Oh
roughly
my.
9,000 games a year. That comes to
Yeah.
roughly 20 to 25 or 30 games a day.
Yeah. Sagar, I was very obsessed. There was a time when my family used to, like, I remember Kenneth used to get really annoyed with me because we would be talking and then he says, I have a chess voice. That's like if I have an ongoing game and he's asking me something and I'm like, yeah, yeah, whatever you say, like, I got it. You're like, let's do it. And then he's just like, this is not your original voice. This is your chess voice, which means you're like not really focused on what I'm saying, but on the game. But I actually would play a lot. Like any free time I got. I mean, so in COVID, I played. I think majority of those games would be those. I would say 2020 to about 2021 or two. Yeah, and then I felt like I stopped playing for quite a while because I felt like I was not improving. I was like, oh, I was, I think, at 1300
Okay.
rating.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just got stuck there. Like, there was no, I felt like I was playing the same game. And for lack of trying to, I felt like, oh, everybody already knows what is the best thing. So, what am I going to do that is going to be new in this thing? And then I got, a little demotivated. I was like, this is not pointless, but I'm not learning anything. I'm
Right.
playing the same stuff. Like, this is the way I'm playing, and I've not improved. And this was, I guess, the disadvantage of not having any kind of coaching. Because I feel if I had coaching, then I would have someone tell me at this stage, what can I do to improve? So, yeah, then there was a
But
phase where
then how did you break this stagnation? Because I understand that by
yeah,
playing, you reach 1300. That was sheer sort of playing,
yeah,
learning. Would you
right.
would you play a game and then analyze it, or just start a
Yeah,
new
so you
game?
get only one review a day, and that was one game. So then I would play many games, and the game where I felt like, oh, I've played the best, but also like it's been a long game, I would review only like those games, that
Ah.
one game, and try to see like, okay, because it, like at that time, like right now, I realize that white and black bar is. I saw that in the stream that like, oh, this is what it is. I just remember that in the they would tell you the moves and they would say like, okay, is this good, is it bad, and what is the best move, not just is this good. I was like, okay, we have to find what is the best move in this situation, not just what are good moves. Because a lot of the times I feel the computer automatic, if you play something, it says, okay, this is good, and it may not suggest, okay, this is the best. So I felt like, yeah, then um yeah, that that was, I lost my
Right.
flow, but
Yeah. No.
yeah,
We were talking about this fact that when you were 1300, you would get one review, then you would
yeah,
review it, you would get better, and then you stagnated
right,
at 1300,
yeah,
and then you are not moving forward. How did you
yeah.
sort of break ahead then?
So I think then I also took a little bit of a break because I think I was getting too, not obsessed, but I was getting basically obsessed if I lost. So I felt like if I lost, I was taking it not personally, but I was caring about the ranking and all. So then I would play less because I felt like, oh, if I'm playing and I'm in this losing streak, I'm going back to like 1,000 or like 900 or 800, and then all the hard work I took to get there is being lost. So I was like, okay, it, it's like I feel like a double-edged thing. Like you play more, and okay, you're learning, but you're also, if you lose, then you feel, which is, I feel, the initial part of what I was saying is just the initial obsession with the rating is what you have to get over. You are not that rating,
So,
that
so
not that rating, but
that
yeah,
break helped you to detach yourself from that rating, like
yes,
going up and down. You were no longer
yeah.
that impacted.
Yeah, and then I didn't care if I lost. I felt like initially it really mattered to me if I lost, and then I would not be able to sleep if I lost, and that's why I would keep playing. So then I would
Wow.
play after I won a game, and then I'd be like, okay, now, and then I'd be like, should I play the second time to see if I win the second? This is what I mean by it was getting a little too. This is also
Were
because of
there
COVID
nights
and
you where you played like till like hours and hours the entire night without
definitely.
sleeping?
Maybe not the entire night because I love my sleep, but definitely till like two or three for sure. Yeah. And I also feel like that would be the time when everybody else is asleep, so it's the most quiet and relaxed time, and I can just chill and nobody's like needs me or wants anything. It's just very relaxed. So I would usually play from like 11 to, yeah, at night, like 11 to maybe 2 or something.
And
Yeah,
this
for three,
this
4 hours.
detaching this from rating, did
Yeah.
that lead to better results, or was there any chess change also that you brought about?
I definitely feel, Sagar, that detaching from the result was the best thing
Mm.
because I feel like if you're really attached to the points and the results, then you don't actually play what you want to play. You play what you
Mm.
think you should be playing.
Wow, that's a deep point.
Yeah, and then it's very restrictive because then you feel like, oh, like, not that I think the computer is wrong, but I feel like at the end of the day, when you play chess, you're actually playing against people.
Mm.
And people think very differently than computers. So they play, like, even the speed you play at or the way you play each move, it's so, like, either it's aggressive or it's defensive. Like, there are many different ways you can play, but I feel like whenever I would put off the sound. One second, I'm so sorry. I would put off the sound of the the games because then I could hear the intensity at which the opponent was playing with me. Because
Ah.
if I was playing, then it would be like like if we're both playing fast. So I would put off the sound to kind of detach from the
Wow.
fastness to not get overwhelmed by okay if it's too fast. And the reason I didn't play the 10-minute games is because I feel online on chess.com there are a lot of people that if they're losing they just make you wait the whole 10 minutes, and I would be like, this is really annoying, and I can't like just, and then I would like report them for stalling and all, which is, I mean, I am sure pointless to a certain extent. I'm like this, and then I'd be like, I can't wait for like 10 minutes. No, even if like, then it's the opposite. If I'm like, even if I've lost now, I have to draw it out to 10 minutes to wait. This is when I cared about the points, and I didn't want to like, I was like, I will just draw it, and just annoy this person.
This is such a nice reason
Yeah.
for choosing 3 plus 0, not 10 plus 0, because you
Yeah, it's such a
wanted.
childish reason.
But in a
But
way, it made you a very quick player because you
yeah,
started taking quick decisions, and which we
right,
saw in COB that you were,
right.
in some of the games, especially I think in the finals
Yeah.
where you went into the end game with Vivek.
Vivek,
There were
yeah.
certain moves that you played like you were looking 2 3 moves ahead. Like you brought your king
Yeah.
up, then you saw that the rook was defending the pawn, which is not
Right,
very common at your level.
right.
How do you think that do you do this intuitively or do you do it calculatively?
I think definitely if you play a lot of games, you tend to try to predict what the other person is going to play and what your next, not just your next move, but your next three moves should be. Like you have to have some sort of plan. And I feel like if you play a lot, then you tend to get, it may seem very intuitive, but it's also part of like some plan. Like you have played similar games before, and opponents have played like this with you, so it tends to flow a little naturally, especially the opening. And the opening I feel is like very, you will see that a lot. I feel when it's most drastic is the end game because you never know, at least that's for me. I feel I never know what's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, I feel like it's a combination of both. Like it's a tactical, like, oh, I've played a lot of games, so I can see a little ahead, and also in that moment to calm yourself and see the whole board, I think is very important and very difficult. Like a lot of the times I was like really focused on protecting some piece, and then you miss like huge opposing things you could do. Yeah.
So in that way, and when you got to know that COB is happening and perhaps you have a chance to play, did that happen out of the blue, or was that always? I think you first played with Samay once, and then
Yes.
he thought that okay, you might be a good addition. How did it happen?
Actually, I think Samay is the sweetest person ever because he's the reason I actually ended up playing on COB. Because, so a couple of months back, I think Kenneth had gone and Ken was chilling with Samay, and he happened to just casually mention, because like he mentioned to Samay that, oh, Tracy plays chess, and I think Samay's love for chess was like, what? Tracy also plays? What? We have to play a game. Let's play one right now. And we were, I think I was at, I wouldn't know if I was at home or where I was, and Ken just texted me saying, hey, do you want to play a game versus Samai? I was like, absolutely not. Why did you
Why?
tell him? No, I was so like, I know he's so good, and this is just a terrible idea, and I'm most of the time pretty conscious to, like, I was like this, I was like, not, this was not a stream or something, he just wanted to play on chess.com.
Yes.
I was like, no, 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 no. And he was like, come on, Trace, just do it. It'll be fun. Like, just do it, just do it. And then I said, and that too, he was at Samay's house. So they were both busy calling me. And then Samay added me as a friend. And then he's like, come on, let's play. And so then I was like, okay, let's do it. And the cool part was I got to do this. The best part about chess, I feel, is you get to do this in the comfort of your own home because of chess.com. So there's no real, like, pressure of, being in public. You can really improve and, play against people even if you're an introvert, not just
So
extroverted
you don't
people.
like to sort of go out there and be in the middle of a lot of people. You like to be in your space.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it depends. Like the people I know really well, then I talk a lot. But otherwise, I feel like yeah, I'm not as comfortable in the cameras. Obviously, like if you're a comedian, you are so comfortable with public speaking and on stage, and dealing with people.
Right.
So
So when
yeah.
you played that game with Samay, if I am not mistaken, just a couple of days later, Samay told me, Sagar, why do you know like Tracy, who's Kenneth's wife? She played so well. In fact, she was almost beating me, or maybe in the
Yeah,
end,
but
he
I
he
lost that
he
game.
he tricked you at the end. I think something like that
Yeah,
happened,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
so you were still
Yeah.
happy, but he knew that you were strong at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. I think that game he beat me, and he beat me in the end. And this was when I didn't know, like, I mean, because you play 3-minute games, majority of the games is like in the opening and the middle. Because it doesn't really reach end game. It does reach, but most of the time it's like initially it was just opening and middle games. And yeah, I feel like my end game was very weak, and so when I played against Samai, I just got like once I knew I could make out he wanted to exchange things, and and then once he reached there, I'm like, I don't even know how to do this, basic stuff, which is like, okay, how do you checkmate with a rook and one, a king? And then I was like, okay, I mean, obviously I lost this game, but it was very fun. It was so nice, and then I was also so happy that I played a good game. Actually, that was what, more than anything, it was that I put up some kind of fight, and then I was excited. I was like, oh, this is great and all. And this was way before COB was, I think,
Yeah.
even suggested, or yeah. And then like I think a couple of maybe months later, somebody messaged Kenneth saying, hey, are you guys free in, like, March? What about these dates? Will Tracy want to play? And I was like, what? Firstly, I'm not a comedian,
But
so I was like,
I
this.
think your first reaction to most of the ideas is like, let's not do it. Yes.
I was like, yeah, this is not a. So I actually have to really thank Kenneth, because he really was like, what are you talking about? Just do it. It'll be so fun. And I think now he knows me so well. He knows the right amount of what to say and what to be like, okay, fine. If you don't want to do, don't do also. So then I'm like, now I really should maybe, consider it, yeah. And then I took like I think a week or two, and then I thought like not a lot of people get this opportunity to firstly play, and like then I felt like, oh, I have like 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks or maybe a month. I think it was 3 weeks, yeah, before the games. I think it was about March. Then I said, okay, fine, I'll tell you what, I'll do it. Like, let's do it. Whatever it is, I'll play and it'll be cool. And I knew like, okay, I knew I was good. I was good. I could play something.
Because
But
in
yeah, I
chess,
never.
this rating really helps to put things into perspective.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you have a rating of 1700, it's for sure that you're stronger than 1500s.
Yeah, but Sagar, at that time, that's what I'm saying. I was not 1700. I actually, I think I would have been, yeah, but in that same range, like 15 to 17, I would, yeah, 100, 200 up and down. But that's like, imagine, like, now I count it as like, that's like 10 games or 20 games because it's like the point system and everything. Yeah.
And then when you played the COB, how were your 2 days like? Were you stressed out before like going to the game? Because I remember like when I used to play chess,
Oh, man.
before going to the game, I had to go to the washroom. I was so stressed out often. Yes, it was like, and I know so many different players who have so many things going on within themselves because of the
Yeah.
stress. Did you also feel anything like that?
Oh, so I'm a max. Like this is like me before exams. Like I would not sleep before my dental exams. Like it was too much for me, and if I close my eyes, I would picture what's gonna happen the next day, which is even more horrible. Um, so I think the day I was gonna play Weber, which was I think day before. I mean that was yesterday, but the night before, I couldn't sleep. Like I woke up thinking of like, oh, this is what I'll play, and I'll make this blunder, and I'm like, what is wrong with my brain? Like why am I? My subconscious is getting stressed. So I think the for me the best thing was to not play on that day at all. I mean, I think I just played one game, and after I won, I stopped, which I feel was great restraint because the old Tracy would have been like, I have to play more and let's, really practice. But I feel like chess is it's like your brain is working overtime. So if you tire yourself out, then you're tired, and then,
Yes.
I, I don't know if you'll see everything correctly. Um, so yeah, I was very stressed also. Like I didn't watch the stream, which I think is the saddest thing. I don't even feel like saying it. But like the day of my match, I could not. I really wanted to watch everybody. I was so curious to see like who's gonna win, and I wanted to see everybody's matches. But I was too like I felt like I would psych myself out,
You can
and
actually sit now and watch like for a
I
few
did. So
hours. Ah, you
after
saw.
every game, I was like, after my match with Sumit, then I saw, the whole stream. I'm like, okay, I saw everybody. Then the next day, like after, I mean, then it was, so for us, it was only 2 days. So, but yeah, I saw it at the end. I didn't see it before my
Also,
game.
Vishy Anand came on the stream, who is
Yes.
five-time world champion, and he
Oh
played.
my God.
And
Crazy.
maybe someday, he's actually coming to Mumbai tomorrow to play a simul,
Crazy,
and
crazy, crazy.
maybe you get to play against him. Yeah, that could be
This
some.
this Sagar, don't be crazy. We have not reached that level
No,
yet.
not like not as an
Oh my
equal or
God.
anything. Just like he plays with many players, and you are
Oh
one of them,
man.
and you could
Oh,
play.
I would love that. It would be insane. Yeah, it would just be insane.
Okay, let's see if that works out. But Tracy, you played a wonderful game against Vaibhav. Actually, this was maybe the most exciting game of the
Yeah, this
COB.
is
Your favorite game, yes,
crazy.
this one, second game.
I mean, I know it's the game that I actually didn't play as I feel I played better versus Vivek because I was more calm. Um, because I think like as the games progressed, I became more and more less and less attached to. I actually felt the only game I was very stressed. Not only game, I was actually against Sumit because I was like, okay, at least the first round, I want to play really well because like I feel like if firstly Samay was hyping me like 1800 a girl and all. I was like, man, I have to like really play well. But then after Sumit, I felt like, oh great, like now I played well, and it was a great. We both played well. It was a good game. Then I was relaxed. But yeah, after Samay lost to Weber, I got nervous again. I'm like, what? I was like, this is This is unexpected. I mean, not. I didn't know. I didn't know how good either. I mean, I knew how good Samay
Well,
is.
generally
So
in streams, like in COB streams, Samay has a plus score with Vaibhav, but I think Vaibhav
right.
was in very good form in this
Yeah, and he
event.
was so relaxed
Yes,
that like that I feel really inspired me to be like, okay, man, I really need to chill and relax. I cannot be, stressed out. And then I had just gone with the vibe of, oh, I'm losing, but I feel it's, and I think that's my psyche. Like
you like to
I
be the
like to think,
underdog.
yeah, in my head, I feel like it really helps me, like we had discussed. I feel some people, they like the opposite. They like to be like, I'm gonna
Yes.
crush it, and then they do. But I feel for me, it's nice to be like, I don't really know. Maybe I'll lose, because it then protects myself. That if I lose, I'd be like, you know what, I did. It's okay.
You are
It's
ready for
fine.
it.
I was ready for it. Yeah. So
Okay, so this game you played with Vaibhav, e4, e5, knight came out. You played the Italian. This is something which you love to play, right?
yes,
Just get all your pieces out. Pawn to d3, h6, h3, a6. And I feel like Vaibhav maybe saw your game with Sumit Saurav, yes, because this was the same
right.
opening that
Very
you
similar.
played. And here is where he played this move. Were you
I
were you a
know.
bit surprised at this point?
I was, and the saddest part is I till now don't know how to play. I don't know how to, what is the right word? Properly defend myself when this happens. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what is the best move. So, like, like now, maybe later on, I will go and I will review the game, and then I will see what white should have done to, if there's an attack like this, how do I truly protect my king?
So how do you
Um,
review it on your own? Do you go into the review game, then
yes.
it suggests the best move here, and then you play it a bit, or how do you do
Yes.
it?
So I go into it, and first the usual ones are like those book moves, like, okay, this is your opening, and so then it says like, okay, if this is an inaccuracy, if it's a mistake or a blunder, those are the three, like. So if it's an inaccuracy, then it tells you like, okay, it gives you an option to tell you which is the
Best
what you
move.
should have done, and so that's what I usually look at. I'm like, oh, this is what I should have played. Like, next time I should play this
But it never
when this
tells you
happens.
why it is an inaccuracy, right? So then do you make your own meaning out of it, or how do you do it?
So I usually, yeah, like I mean, I definitely know that in most of these games, I feel it's like maths. It's like it's very black and white if something is inherently wrong. Like a lot of the, like in this situation, I know it was an onward attack, and I kind of didn't have the tools to protect myself adequately.
Hmm.
I was still like, okay, I was ignoring it. So I wasted like two moves just doing some nonsense.
So you
Um,
look at chess like in a way where you should know how to react to certain scenarios, and that
yes,
would be very useful. That how you like to see chess?
definitely. Because I feel like it's like, I honestly think anybody can learn how to play chess well, because I feel the best part about it is that everything's already there. Like, everything's already out there for you. And it was more difficult for people at the time before, to learn what is the right way to play, or what is the best move. Now it's both an advantage and a disadvantage, because I feel the disadvantage is what I said. It gets very overwhelming when you feel like, oh, if everybody already knows, how can there be
Where's the
someone?
creativity?
Where's the creativity? Yeah, or like what if I don't want to play this book move? So yeah, I feel it's a combination of both. But yeah, definitely I feel like there are some things where, okay, this is the best move, and it's not like a question of I don't want to play it. It's like, no, you have to play it to protect yourself. So I think of defensive moves, like if someone's attacking you, I have to learn what is the best way in that situation to protect myself. Yeah.
Got it. So g5, and
Yeah.
here you went b4, a very interesting move.
But don't you think this was like technically not really addressing the problem?
Well, it's like, some problem exists. You kind of
Yeah.
distract from that, but
Right.
it's a useful move. So in a way,
Right.
you didn't spoil anything.
Right.
So went here. Okay, very cool. You went with your bishop and came in with the knight here. Already it's very sort of complicated. Yeah, all pieces
Yeah.
facing off each other. And you took here. He took back with the pawn. And you came in here.
I feel what I should have done was maybe offer to exchange the knight, but then I also know that if I had
You mean
offered
this way?
that, yeah, I can't come back.
Yeah.
So, if I mean, I would have just wanted to offer it so that he then can't pin my, what is it, F3 knight
You
later.
mean like
If he
this?
did this, yeah.
This is good for you, you thought.
I thought, now see, this is the inexperience that I don't know if this is
This
again
is
the best.
this is the beauty of how you've learned chess, and this is what
Yeah,
kind of makes me curious that there are so
right,
many permutation combinations out there, right? In chess, you cannot
right,
learn all of them.
right.
So then you have to sometimes play based on what you
What do
already
you feel?
feel,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
that you've developed just by playing. And
Playing.
here you have
And
to
by
make a,
seeing,
yeah,
yeah,
split second call, go forward, come here, and you make
go
these
back.
calls very quickly.
Right. Yes.
So you went here, he pushed the pawn, you took, bishop takes. And I think here it got a bit stressful because if you took the pawn, he takes and you cannot take back because the
Right.
bishop pins here.
Right.
So you played knight here. Tracy, how important do you think is calculation in your journey to reach this? Which is like, there are like what we did right now is a two move calculation, like
Yeah.
take here, you can't do because you lose a piece. Do you do this? Have you done this intensively, like looking five moves ahead or problems like that? Or you think that is not a very important part of your journey?
Um, no, I think calculation comes after you've crossed a certain level of you're playing really good games. Like I mean, initially when you play, you are not able to calculate. Like you still have not fully understood is what you're doing the right thing or not. So initially it's not like the initial moves when I would play before I would calculate and play. I would just play, and then which is why there are so many games is because a lot of the times it would be the wrong move and then I would get punished for my bad moves, and then you never make those mistakes because you're like, oh, like especially, which is why I have a huge problem with pins, is I don't like it because I'm like, I don't really know what is the best way to get out of here. So now I have, like, so before someone can pin me, I usually, like, put my pawns
Yeah,
and
it's
protect
like
that
this
pin,
move,
the
like
bishop pin.
here you make these moves so that
Yes,
they cannot pin you here.
exactly, exactly. So, but yeah, but definitely as you like get better, I think you have to play, and calculate the further moves, because that's the only way you kind of have a plan. Otherwise, you're just playing with the flow, and yeah, I don't think that's the smartest way to kind of, win.
Right.
Yeah.
Knight g3, rook g8. And now I think you were seeing that the king is in the center. You wanted to open it up, right? Was that your
Right.
plan?
That was my plan.
Okay.
And my hope was that he'll take, and somehow I will, like, get my queen out of this squashed position and still protect my knight. But Vaibhav bested me in this. He was like, no, I've got this. And he didn't, yeah.
And here I think Vaibhav played a very nice move to
Right.
keep it all
This was a
closed.
superb move. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, now I'm like, what do I do? I also can't even move my, yeah, this was yeah, why I got a little space now
Yes,
because he
actually, if you
forgot
would
that
have done
pawn.
this, it would not have been easy for you to break through, right? Like
Not at
you're
all.
blocked everywhere. You
No.
can't push the pawn. He's long
Yeah.
castling, and then it might have been tough.
Definitely, definitely. If he had done this, it would have been incredibly tough. Then I would have had to maybe like double up my queen and my rook. I don't
Yes.
know. Something like this to kind of break through and get him to move his bishop out so that I can remove my knight. It's just too many possibilities of what you can do. But yeah, basically remove the tension of this pin and possible checkmate. Yeah.
So here, queen e7. You took the pawn, which again you took in a flash, which just shows
Yeah.
that you are alert about all that is happening on the
Yeah,
board.
I was like busy looking at that pawn. I was like, I have to get it so that because when he blocked me, I was like, man, now this bishop has become useless because now it's sitting over there blocked, and I can't even remove it out because of my pawn structure. So I, it was yeah, quite.
And then you played here. Bishop went back, and
These were not good moves. These
here
were
you had
like
a very nice move, which
I
you
missed.
missed it. But I think
Yes,
later you might have seen is to give this check
right.
and win this bishop.
And
But it was the move you played was also very nice. Pawn push, f6. And now what was going in your head at this point? Like, because you see he's attacking this pawn here.
I mean, actually, the goal was now I knew I can move my knight.
Mm.
So I was like, I have to get my knight into this game to kick out his queen so
Yes.
that I can somehow, like, either do two things. One is check his rook that's, on my king file, and the second was to just utilize my knight because as of now, it's doing nothing. Um, but yeah, but I also knew my king is not, I mean, my queen is not in the best position, and I'm basically my king is very weak. There's not really much protection, so that was also causing a lot of stress. I'm like, I don't know if I should be moving things around near my king and then weakening it further. So
So maybe this idea here, getting the knight to this square, would have been very powerful to
but then he
remove the
could have
king.
also pinned me with his bishop again.
Yes, in a way, but for now he can't bring the bishop because knight will take it, and then otherwise, if you come here, you are attacking the queen. So somehow you are
Somehow, yeah.
able to get that in.
Yeah.
But you went here, he went here, you went back, he pushed the
Yeah.
pawn, he went forward, and he played this very nice move
Superb move, yeah.
because the bishop was kind of dead. It now got a new life,
That's what.
and it's attacking here, and then here, queen, and you had to give up this pawn.
Yeah. I actually had no option to save it.
But taking this
Um,
pawn was very,
that
very
was just
brave.
yeah, but that was just greedy. I was like bugged. I was like, man, and now even I need to start, I need to start attacking. I'm being too like trying to protect everything. I was like, let's just like, because in these situations also I knew I had won one game. Sorry. So I felt like, okay, if I lose this game, not that it's okay, but I felt I can afford that, so
Yes.
I should just be a little more aggressive. And I because I was playing very like trying to protect and trying to protect things, and that was hampering my game. So then I was like, let's just play. Like if I was playing anybody, this is which is why a lot of if people see my game, they also see it's very rash
Yes.
and not the best. May not be the best moves and stuff.
It's like a
But yeah.
street fight. Your games are
Yeah.
just back and forth,
But that
and
is how 3 minute games are. So it's
yes.
so funny. Like, I know for a lot of people who watch the stream, they're like, man, you play really fast. But I'm like, if you play versus any 3 minute, there are people who play bullet. And like, if you watch bullet games, it's next level. It's like, you can't even understand from where to where they've gone. But yeah,
Do
it's.
you feel like your next aim is to become good at bullet chess?
No, no, no. I tried it. It was not my vibe. It was too dependent on time. Like I felt like it was too like no, I wasn't able to think of what is the best move. So
Right.
then I'm like, I don't want to be playing where I'm only not able to think if this is the best move. Then you're just by hearting moves and
Yes.
playing.
Yes.
So I was like, I don't want to play that. I felt in 3 minutes I still have that leeway to play things that I can think of creatively as well. Yeah.
So went back, bishop takes, rook takes, and queen came in, and now threatening mate in one. I think by now
Man.
you realized your game is in trouble.
Yeah, I was like, now it's reaching a terrible, like, it's getting over. Um, yeah, but I was like, man, I just have to prevent.
You
This
lost the
was
rook.
superb.
Yeah,
I
you lost the rook.
know.
But
And
did
this
the
is when
cross
I,
thought cross your mind? Oh, I have to resign now, or you fight generally till the end?
um, yeah, I usually am. I mean, I had heard that I had watched a lot of, like I watched Queen's Gambit, and I saw that usually people are losing, they resign, or like they, like they shake their hand, and like the old games you used to see, that I mean this was I saw from the movie. I don't know how actually accurate it is, but I was always under the assumption that if the opponent has a better position, you should resign respectfully. Like that was the respectful thing to do.
Right.
But then later on, I realized that also you should fight till the end. Like you should. There are two ways. Like the new way of thinking is you should continue. You shouldn't
Yes.
give up
It's like
unless it's
both
like a
of these
completely gone game.
keep
Yeah,
fighting with it. But this position already was quite bad.
very bad.
But it is one of the prime examples that you should not resign because
Yeah,
you were able. And here, if I think Vaibhav also said later in the game, if you would have pinned your queen,
it was over.
he would have been very happy there. But the move he played also won your queen somehow. The queen has no space to go,
Yeah.
so
I
you
knew that there's no
sacrificed.
way he could. I thought, like, do you think he has still not seen that he can pin my queen? I'm like, should I try to save my queen? Maybe. But there was no way.
Yes.
Because if I did, he would have surprise checked me and then I would have lost my queen on a bishop. Then I was like, you know what? I have to just get the rook. It's more points. So this was when, like, I was like, okay,
But
I have to.
here you are an entire queen down. Like it's not even
I know.
you don't even have one piece for it.
Then my only hope was that pawn. I was
Yes.
like, man, I need to do something. Like I have to make it happen, and yeah, then I was just like, this is like when you just try to do some tactics. Like this is like the home of 3 minute games. Is when you do nonsense like this, which is like try to surprise check someone, and because a lot of times people miss stuff like this. But yeah,
I think you had a trap in mind. If he took this pawn, you would have
yes,
moved the bishop
take
and
his
take the
queen.
queen. Ah,
Yeah.
nice.
So I was like, I have to sacrifice it somehow and do it. Um,
And I think the one more thing which we shouldn't miss here is that you had put Vaibhav under tremendous time pressure because he was down to his
yes,
last 50 seconds here.
right. I feel if Vaibhav had more time, he would have won this game.
True.
He wouldn't like if we both had like 30 minutes, then this was his game for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
And when he played this, I think your eyes lit up and you're
Yeah,
like,
I was like, yes, finally, this is like crazy. Yeah, then I was like, man. But he didn't need to resign. I
well,
felt like,
it's already very bad. Yes, already time down, and now you got the queen. Rook is hanging, so he
yeah,
just gave up. And I could
right.
see like Tracy during the streams, you would often do like, whoo, and you would
Yeah,
do
and
it
also,
several times.
yeah, and I didn't, a friend of mine watched the stream later and he was like, why, that same friend, my friend Adrian, he was like, if you do that, can your opponent see you? And I'm like, yeah, they can see me. And I was like, but in that moment, you're not thinking like, oh, that person can see you. And you're just like, it's that instinctive reaction of, when I saw that he could pin my queen, I'm like, this is such a stupid move. How could I make this move? Like, this is not, like, this is not, you're not allowed. Should not have done that. That was, yeah, but
But Tracy, what do you think about sort of your journey in chess now going forward? You won this. Do you want to improve further at chess, or you think
yes.
this is fun? I won COB. This is good.
No, I feel I definitely want to improve. I feel it's such a um I feel it's maybe that push that I would have not assumed that I could improve more, because I felt like, oh, now I'm already at like a nice place where I'm happy with. I'm content. I think, oh, this is a good, like, I've learned something. I'm good, and let's stop. But then also, there's a limited amount you can kind of learn on your own. You eventually need, like, I mean, I saw the stream after, and I think there was a move with, I think in the game with Vivek, which was that, I mean, you guys were like scissor move, and you should have,
Ah.
that.
No, it was with Vaibhav. It was with
Oh,
Vaibhav.
was it
Oh,
Weber?
we should
Sorry,
we
sorry. Yeah,
should
yeah.
see that very quickly because it was
Yeah.
one of the prettiest moves I thought of the entire COB.
Oh
Uh,
man.
but okay, it was not easy to find it in
Right.
limited
And I
time.
didn't even know like, that's the thing. I don't, like, you don't know that these things exist
Yeah.
because you've not seen. enough games or nobody has told you. So this is where I feel like,
So
you
this is
know,
this is the Boden's mate, and I think this is
got
like the
it.
traditional way of learning chess, which is like you give a position to a player like this, and you say, okay, black to play and win, and then the player
Right,
thinks, should I take the knight? No. Oh, I can take the pawn.
right.
Takes, and then this is a checkmate, and then
Crazy.
they learn this way, and then they try to apply it in their games, which is very tough, right? Because
Got it.
while you are solving, you are being told here is the moment, but when you're playing, no one is telling you here is the moment.
Yeah.
But I think, and that's what makes your journey very special, is that you never
Yeah.
went through this route of training.
Yeah,
Did you solve
definitely.
puzzles somewhere, or?
I honestly, I mean, I don't know if I should be saying, but I actually didn't really solve puzzles because sometimes the puzzles were too difficult to solve. Like they'll give you like a daily puzzle. And so when you don't have the diamond membership, you can't just solve puzzles based on the specific skill you want to learn. So if you're like, oh, like at the end of your game, if you review, it'll say, okay, you need to learn about like relative pin. And you're like, I don't know what relative pin is. And then you're like, if you try to learn, you can't because you've not like, I didn't have that feature. I had not subscribed to the membership. But yeah, I definitely feel like if you do learn it, like doing the puzzles like that I had seen, you get a daily puzzle, and that's a pretty complicated puzzle, and it was too ahead of where I was playing. So I was like, this is like, and also I felt like I'm never gonna see this in a match, and even if I do, it'll be too complicated for me to spot. So I would just sometimes see what is the answer. Like, okay, what is the right? I would play something and I would see it, but not really much. Like I've started playing puzzles now after I like went from 1300 and that stagnant phase. After that, I was like, okay, I really need to. Um, Puzzles are very helpful. I didn't actually estimate how comfortable they get you with uncomfortable situations, and trying to see the best move in that situation. uh, so because it may not be the most obvious move, that's the best part about the puzzle.
Right.
Like a lot of the times the puzzles feels like, oh, I could capture this queen, but actually you can checkmate in a different way.
Right.
And so like your instinct is, oh, capture the queen, like that's what everybody thinks, but that's not what chess is actually like about. The king, the whole game is about you making sure you checkmate the king,
True.
your opponent's king. So I feel like it's not like how many pieces you lose, it's more like how to get there. So
Right. Right. So what would be your next aim now in chess?
I have to increase my rating, guys. We have to reach, I think 2000 is the goal. That is the 1900 to
2000.
2000. Yes.
2000. Wow, that is amazing. And did you ever think like you would want to stream chess, or now you do you feel
Uh,
that?
I feel like a lot of sweet, sweet people in the comments, and people have reached out on Instagram being like, "You should stream. I'll watch it." And I'm like, guys, I have no like advice to give in this situation, but at the same time, I feel it's for the love of chess. I feel if this is gonna make more people play, especially people who don't think they can. I think that's the funniest part about chess is when I first heard is it's known to be like a very intelligent game. Like, so because of that, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not smart enough, I can't play it, oh, it's too complicated. But that's not true. It's actually a very beautiful and easy game. It's everything is there for you. If you just, start, you can really learn and at least reach a good level. Not like you have to like you don't have to be some grandmaster, but you should. It's a great way. It's a great game.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people think chess is a very young person's game. Like if you are little, you can learn things
Right.
quickly. But I think you are also an example that at
Yeah.
any age you can improve at chess.
Right.
Because we
Definitely.
see nowadays grandmasters happening at the age of 12,
Yeah,
13,
or like you have to be
14.
some prodigy to
Yes.
be like, excellent. And like I know those stories are supposed to be motivating, but sometimes it's also
Yes,
demotivating. You're
you
like,
see,
man,
oh,
I'm like 30.
I see many times comments like I interview a young talent, and then people are
Yeah.
commenting at this age I was, eating
Yeah.
sand, I was doing something random.
Yeah, it's so true. And a lot of us didn't get those advantages of, getting access to those things at a younger age. So even like playing an instrument and stuff, you'll see people who play really well. Like you'll see this child prodigy on the piano, and you'll be like, man, this is so difficult. But actually, if you sit and you do it, and you can pick it up now because everything's available online. I feel that's the best part about this, the internet age.
But did you know, now that you have learned chess so well and so on, this is
Right.
amazing. Did at any point you feel I'm wasting my time? You know, I've seen that happening with a lot of people when they spend a lot of
Okay.
time on chess. Afterwards, they think I spent so many hours on it. Did you go through that phase ever?
I think no. I don't think anything you do is a waste of time, including like watching TV. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but I feel it's okay. Like you should not beat yourself on how you spend your time. Yeah, maybe I don't think chess is a waste of time at all. Even if you lose, like I mean, this is a very hard thing to go through. Is you lose many games. I feel like what I was saying. You feel like why did I like I'm in a losing streak. What should I do? The best thing to do is just pretend that didn't happen. Go to sleep and start a new day as if nobody saw it. That's the best part about being, like I feel like that's the disadvantage of I think streaming is that then, it's people are watching and if you play badly, then they know like, man, this person also sucks. And like we always want our the people we support to always be awesome, but that's not true. You have to it's everything is up and down. You will also lose, you'll also win, combination of both.
And do you feel ever like, oh, I can go now on ground over the board, play these tournaments which happen. There's this
you
thing
know
called FIDE rating, which is this world body which gives
okay.
rating, and you play these tournaments, you get a FIDE rating. Does that
Okay.
attract you?
I mean, the thing is, I don't know enough about it. Now I have to call you Sagar and be like, Sagar, what is the best, thing to do? I don't know enough about it because I don't actually have, that knowledge yet. But I feel, yeah, everything. I feel any skill, if you're good at it, you should totally take it to wherever you can. And I think anything beyond this is only just a positive and a blessing. It's not. That's what I believe it is. I feel it's only up. Like now, it's anything beyond this is just even greater. But I'm very happy with where it is right now. Also,
Fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic. I have, we have this wonderful conversation we have had. I have two questions to end this. The second last question which I have is, what is it about chess that attracts you so much that you want to play it every day in the game?
Okay, let me think. Um, it's so funny. I feel like everybody sees chess a different way. Like you see the board a different way, and um, I feel like someone told me like chess is kind of like a lot like what you are in your life. Like either you're very, you know, not aggressive, but you how you deal with situations is very similar to how you would deal with a situation in chess. Like if someone's putting a lot of pressure on you, like do you crumble or do you attack or do you defend? And so I feel like how I play every day is also it's I love these kind of games, and not any kind of phone game has always been like things I love. Like I even got obsessed with Candy Crush, which I don't think is something I should say, but it's true. In college, there was a phase. It's
You
just
must
like
have aced that as well.
no, I really didn't. And
Okay.
also, it was they have like these lives. After you die, a certain number of lives you can't play. And I think because I'm so impatient, I was just like, this is too much waiting, which is why I'm at the 3 minute vibe. And I'm sure like this is probably a disadvantage of me is that I'm impatient. But the advantage is that I make sure I really play a lot and do it every day. I think that's what everybody should do, if you can, if you have the time. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's a very nice answer. You like chess because it kind of mirrors who you are in real life.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, the last question is, if you had to give few advices to all the improvers out there, chess improvers, people who are want to improve, and these are like some advice which they can put it to use in their
Right.
journey, what would they be? I mean, we
I don't know if
discussed
I'm the best
many
person for
in this
this.
in this interview. We spoke about so many, so
Yeah.
people have got an idea. But just as a final thought,
I think the best advice would be, I mean, I know it sounds very cliche to say don't give up, but I really think it's getting over that plateau stagnant phase. Like get over the phase where you think you're not good and just accept that you're not. Say it's okay. I'm not good. I'm not playing well. It's okay. I will just continue. I will be able to learn a little more, and I think that is the best advice I could give, because beyond that, then anything more is more than what you already expected of yourself. So you if you have a low expectation, then any effort you put will be advantageous, and keep going. Yeah, definitely, keep don't give up, don't stop. If it's a always think of it as a small break. Like, even if, oh, I don't have time, or, oh, it's a waste of time. Okay, it's a waste of time for these 2 weeks, I won't play, and then I will, you know go back to it and see what I can do now. It's a new day. So yeah.
Wow, fantastic, Tracy. It was so amazing talking to you. You came
Thank
into
you so much,
this
Sagar.
COB and chess world like this breath of fresh air. You came in not just from the perspective of playing, but also the way in which you have evolved as a player. And everyone's so curious. I think through this interview, they'll get to know you better, your journey.
Yes.
And I hope that you remain in chess, you
Yes,
play more,
100%.
you stream
Woo.
more, and it would be amazing to see you in action.
Thank you so much, Sagar. I think everybody in the chess community has to know what a sweetheart Sagar is. His love for chess is so much that it literally beams. If he comes to know you love chess, he will just make sure that he comes to find about your journey. And Sagar, you're the sweetest. I think I'm lucky to have also had my entry into chess with such lovely people like you and Samay, because you all have been so motivating. It's been
This is not
very
your
sweet.
entry into chess, Tracy. You
Yeah, I
had
think it's
you have
entry.
had 3-4 years of chess with
Yeah.
you, and I think that's what your love for chess is what people have enjoyed tremendously. So thank you
Thank you
for
so much,
this.
Sagar.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. See you. Bye bye. See you.